we go. Now when I hit return, it's scrolling across. Hello again. This is the next part of our adventures using the Arduino with the LCD screen.
Yeah.
Last time we showed how you can print a message that scrolls across the screen as it prints out. That was fun, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And now this time I want to show how we can actually, from the computer using this keyboard, type something out that will then show up here.
Oh, that's
I wish you could see Sister Yeti's face whenever we do this, because she makes some amazing faces. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to get this plugged back in, and it will start back up with the same Merry Christmas message from last time, because that was the last thing we programmed for it, right? Now, if we come back to the instructions and bring up our IDE here, there is an example skipping a few things. We'll come back to those things, but there's this example here using serial to display. Okay, now serial. What is serial? That is the thing that we can talk about a whole lot some other time. But this USB cable, so this cable here on my desk here, that's connecting it to the computer, it is a USB cable. Universal Serial Bus is what USB stands for.
Oh.
S is serial. We're talking about serial.
Yeah.
What serial means is one thing after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's serial. Okay. What it means is it's sending information down the wire, one thing after the other. There's other ways that wires can work, that protocols, computers can do things. There's a whole lot there that we haven't gotten to yet. All you really need to know is that it's a way of connecting one thing to another. So this USB cable has a serial connection to the Arduino. And here in the Arduino software, there's this thing called the serial monitor. And we can send messages to the Arduino across the serial connection. That connection is how this software sends the code to the Arduino as well. But once the code's running, we can then also send messages without having to completely reset up the code. And that's what we're going to learn how to do here. Okay? So the first thing we need to do, we're going to go ahead and get rid of our auto scroll and get rid of the hello world. And we need to use serial.begin. So remember how this liquid crystal was a capital L?
Yes.
This serial is a capital S. That means we're taking some code from somewhere else and we're calling it. So we're taking this serial class. We're going to call begin on it. And 9600 is how fast the connection will be. This 9600 is going to match this 9600 in the program. See that?
Yes.
If we change that to a different number, then we need a different number here in the code. Okay? It's how fast they'll talk to each other. Like if I talk to you this fast and you don't know what I'm saying, it doesn't really make... Like if I speak too fast, you don't know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So we have to speak at a speed that we both understand, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to use serial at 9600 baud. And then we don't need this message anymore. We don't need this loop anymore.
No.
And we're not going to set the cursor at the end anymore either. So basically, we're going to start over. So what we need to do is we're going to have to check if a message has been sent to the Arduino. So how do we check to see if a message has been sent to the Arduino? That is what this if serial available. This part of the code isn't color-coded for some reason in the tutorial, but if we type it into the IDE, it will be. So if serial, we're going to ask the serial, available. The IDE knows what we want to do and it suggests it. So hit return, it types it in. So if serial available, what that means is if a message was sent over the serial thing, something's ready for us to read on the Arduino. So this is the Arduino doing this, right?
Yes.
So the Arduino is checking if something has been sent across this cable to it. If it has, we're going to wait for a little bit. We're going to wait for a fraction of a second just to give time for like everything to copy over. Because serial's slow. So we're going to wait for something's ready, but let's wait a little bit just to make sure it's all there. Now we're going to clear the screen. And then next thing we do is while there's still something available, remember how we talked about characters last time? We printed one character at a time?
Yes.
The serial connection sends one character at a time.
Oh, that's
So-
why it's slow.
Yes. 9600 is 96, it's bits per second. Won't get into all that right now, but it's slow for a computer. Like, it still shows up quickly to us, but it's slow for a computer. And we just have to wait around long enough to make sure everything happens in the right way. So while serial is still available, what that means is if available is if one character was sent, and then while another character is still coming, while there's still characters coming and we haven't finished the connection, we are going to write that character to the display. So we're going to do a serial read. So we're checking to see if something is available to read, and then if something is available, we'll actually read it. And we'll read that one character and write it to the LCD. Before we did a print is for a whole string at a time, a whole message.
Yes.
Write is for one character at a time. Okay? So we're going to write one character to the screen. And anything else? Nope, that's the end of the example here. That's all there is to it. So now when we hit go, it's going to stop printing out our Merry Christmas message. And it's going to print nothing. Okay. Sister Yeti, what's the first message you want to print out here?
About gingerbread house.
Gingerbread house. Okay, so I'm going to print out gingerbread house here. I'm going to hold this up. Hit print out gingerbread house. There we go. It printed gingerbread house. Look at that. It cut it off a little bit because it was a little bit too long. So is there something a little bit shorter that you want to print?
How about example?
Is there a word that you want to say?
Yeah.
What's your favorite toy?
Drone.
Drone?
Yeah.
Drone. Okay, gonna hit drone. Now, it printed out drone. See, it printed out drone, but what is...
That.
3
lines.
I messed with the... There we go, the contrast there. What are the lines after the drone? I'm glad you noticed and asked. So, what is that? Well, when we sent the message, here in the program, it has this option for no line ending, new line, carriage return. There's a very old history about why new line and carriage return are two different things. But what that's saying is, there's an old thing called a typewriter that as you typed, you'd hit this button over here, and it would turn the thing and move everything to the next line on the typewriter.
Whoa.
And that's a new line. And a carriage return is, as you're typing along, you need to move the thing back. So there's a new line and a carriage return. They're two different things. When we moved to computers that didn't have things to move around anymore, some people used new line, some people used carriage return, some people used both. So depending on the software you're using, you need one or the other or both. Well, what happened here is this software is set to send new line. And what showed up was gibberish because it's not actually a character that can print out on the screen. The LCD doesn't know what to do with the new line. It just tried to print it. And it can't print it because it's not a real character. Okay? Sister Eddie here has this like weird look on her face, like, what? Okay, so what we do is no line ending. Okay, but actually to show you what will happen, we'll do both real quick. So I'm going to put in what I thought brother was going to say, shark car. And now when we do shark car, get the right angle here for the camera to be happy. I'm sorry, this is being very hard to see.
Shark car.
Let's reset that and try again.
There's
Okay.
shark car.
Okay, let's send shark car again.
Short car has
There we go.
no 6 lines.
It has 2 weird gibberish lines on there. And notice that one's a little bit different than the other.
Yes.
Because it sent a new line and a carriage return. And they're 2 different types of gibberish. So if we set it to no new line,
Why there's
no gibberish.
why there's any letters from that box?
That's what we typed in, shark car. Okay, so now you can see that when you type something in across serial, that this will read it and print it.
Car.
Now let's do something else really quick here
Okay.
and show you how to combine what we did last time with scrolling. Because remember your first message you sent? It was a little bit too long, right? Gingerbread house.
Yes.
We lost the E. Well, I got some code ready that wasn't in the demo, in the tutorial, where if something's available to read, okay, sorry, quick technical glitch there, we're back now. So over here, the example was short and simple, but I've prepared a little bit different way of doing it, right? So we're going to read a whole string from the Arduino at once, from serial at once. So instead of just reading one character at a time and writing that one character at a time, we're going to use a thing called read string, and it's going to read the whole message out at once. And the reason I want to do that, and I actually do still want to clear first, put that in the wrong order. The reason I want to do a whole string at once is so that I can tell how long the message is. And when we know how long the message is, we can know if it's going to be too long to fit on this LCD all at once. Yes. Okay, so if it's too long, then we'll want to turn on scrolling.
Yeah.
Right? So if we just try to print out the message. So let's start with just printing it, right? So we got the message, we're going to print it, and we should see that this works the same way as it was before. We're going to read the whole thing and then print it out. So if I do gingerbread house, you see that it printed out gingerbread house the same way it did before. So what we did didn't actually change the behavior at all of what it was doing. We just read the whole string at once now instead of one character at a time.
Yeah.
So that's a different way of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what we need to do is we need to know if we should start scrolling or not. So I'm going to have a little bool here. A boolean is a true or false. It's yes or no. So I'm going to set up a little boolean here saying that should scroll. And normally we don't want to scroll. So I'm going to say false. No. Normally we don't want to scroll. So I'm going to start it as false. But when we get a message, if the message length is longer than 16, right? If it's longer than the LCD is wide, then we should scroll. Okay. Now, if we should scroll, then we need to do the scrolling. But we're not going to use auto scroll because we already printed the whole message. We're just going to scroll one thing at a time. So we're going to delay a little bit. Otherwise, it will all happen all at once. And we can't actually see it happen. So we're going to delay for half a second.
Away.
And then we're going to scroll the display to the left 1. What this means is it's going to move 1 character to the left. Well, but what if it's 20 characters long? We can't see 4 of them. We need to move 4 over. Well, the way this is set up is the loop is going to come around again, and until we get a new serial message, we're going to scroll 1 to the left every time we come through the loop. I put it down here because if we put it up here in the serial available part, it will block the next message. We won't get the next message until it's done looping through. So I separated them out. That's why I put these as 2 separate things. So the next message that comes in, it will be the next thing that happens. And then if another message didn't come in, we'll keep scrolling. So let's go ahead and hit go here. And now we're going to want a slightly longer message because gingerbread house was only one character too long. So gingerbread house shark. There we go. Now when I hit return, it's scrolling across. And then it's just going to get to the end and then start over eventually. Well, I thought it was going to start over. Must have missed something in there. But
I forget something.
I must have forgot something. What did I forget?
Oh, passing that again. See?
Oh, there it is. Now it's coming through again. It just took a lot longer than it did the last time I did this. Last time I did this, it only printed out like 8 blanks and then started over. This time it printed out a lot more blanks for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But it did work. It eventually came through again. Now, if we type in shark and I hit return, it doesn't scroll because shark is small enough to fit on screen without having to scroll. Right? So just print shark.
Sure.
And there you go. So you can take messages from the serial monitor here, and if the message is too long, it prints it out while it scrolls, and if it's short enough, it doesn't scroll because it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Fun, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to show for that demo today.
Yeah.
Cool. And then next time we'll look at the cursor and blinker settings as well. So, okay. See you later.
Bye. That was fun.